The first step in design thinking is to empathize. But first, let me describe what empathy means. Empathy is the ability to sense other people's needs. This step will help you put aside your own world and put inside the customer's needs.
Empathy is very important to design thinking because this helps to put aside your own world perceptions, and this helps to create your own designs.
In this stage, you accumulate the information gathered in the first stage. Then analyze your observation and synthesize them to define the problems you have identified.
The stage 2 is a section in which you get the information after the first stage, that is empathy stage. Then you make the observations and you define the core problems that your team have identified. These are called problem statements.
Step 3 is called idling. In this step, you generate ideas from the first two phrases and look for alternative ways to view the problem in order to identify innovative solutions.
Ideate is actually a way to think out of a box. For example, if you have some problems or some things that are bad, you only need to think and plan what to do to solve that problem.
The prototype is an experimental phase where you identify the best possible solution for the problems found. Here, versions of the product are made on paper in order to investigate that ideas that have been generated.
It's called prototype. This one is to identify the problems and to plan with a good and inexpensive prototype. It could be with paper that is inexpensive, and if they found an error, they usually go back and correct that error.
In this stage named test, specialists cautiously evaluate prototypes. Although this is the final phase, the design thinking is iterative. Teams often use the result to redefine one more additional problem.
Test is a stage that comes after the final product and consists to check the product and to check if it's how they want. For example, if the product is not like how they wanted, they can return and check what are the errors.
The purpose of this project is making a direct and extensive investigation about what design thinking involves, where you can apply it, how can you use it, its stages, and how important it is in order to understand the needs of clients. It is relevant because using this method we can solve any problem that comes in our way.
The purpose of this project is to make a huge investigation about what design thinking means and all the components that design thinking is based on. The importance of design thinking is really varied. This because it can help us in our daily life. This, for example, when we're like in a group of friends and we want to know new ideas or new things to invent, to innovate or something.
The importance of design thinking is to keep developing our abilities in order to arrive problems or situations that may arise in our daily life, such as school activities, or in our home. Design thinking is a useful skill. Everybody should apply it and use it.
Design thinking is a tool that we can use all in our life. It's based basically in our ideas and our imagination. This came from anywhere and for any person, just thinking and planning the things that they want. This is basically the design thinking.
Design thinking builds people's capacity to innovate. Ideas can come from anywhere and anyone can be creative.
The concept of design thinking was raised on the years 80s. This was by David Kelly. This person invented the design thinking by only reason, because this was helpful to create and innovate like new things by the students in a special way for solutioning problems.
Professor consultant, co-founder of IDEO.com, where you need a great development of a new skill for a laboral and educational purpose.
Design thinking encourages organization. This by the way that create ideas to make like a new product, new services, but with only idea and way with the be too functional and too creative, like in a only product that has all the things. One methodology of design thinking is called a stage gate that is based on the economic and financial aspect of delivering. This is based on the designer and the decision makers that can have gates or checkpoints that are positioned in an strategic locations. This to evaluate the process from time to time so they can have the profit.
This methodology focuses on the economic and financial aspect of delivering an idea or solution as a product or service.
The other ideology is pentathlon. This is basically a relationship into the designer and the environment. This because joins in a creation, and also the environment is with the hand of the designer.
In the first stage, a deep investigation must be done. In the second stage, approaches to the problem solving are employed by a careful analysis of the information collected and patterns are identified. In the third stage, users' needs are identified and prioritized. Finally, in the last stage, the tools or products are built and tested that meet the consumer's needs as well as the offer solution to identify problems.
Google is one company that take advantage in this thing of creative thinking. This with the use of drive disruption.
Airbnb at one point only earned $200 per week. What were they doing wrong? What can they do to get out of the situation? How did it go from being a company with a little or no profit to the great Titanic that it is now? Simply, they use design thinking process.
On-air shopping is a business that is based on where your product is. For example, if I order a product from a special store, they're gonna tell me where my product is. And this is an idea of how the use of creative thinking is very helpful.
Google has a proper procedure of brainstorming that facilitates them to unexpectedly remedy issues and give solutions.
Airbnb uses the creative thinking in the way that they start like making the publications of the stores and of the houses and all the publications with a very low quality of the images. What they do, they call a person that has a camera of high quality image, and the sales increase more than 50%. That is a use of creative thinking.
On air shopping arose an idea from an investment proposal in a startup proposal that was originally aimed at tourists and leisure activities. To do this, they carry an empiric research, which finally made it known as neither tourists nor residents knew the surroundings well. The app depends on the design thinking to meet those needs by creating a platform that answers the questions of both.
Well, this investigation actually bring me a lot of new ideas and new imaginations about what this actually is creative thinking. It changed me a lot of my perspective and bring me a lot of initiative to continue working on this and to continue working in the investigation of this, because this thing I can use it in my daily life, and it will work a lot in my daily life, because it's like I feel identified with this. So this could help me and could be like a nice idea for my future, in the way like when I want to create like some publicity for my job or for my business. This will actually help me a lot to create and to be like more creative and thinker.
This research taught me that design thinking is a very important tool. We almost learn how to use it and apply it because it helps you to solve problems using our creativity. What most caught my attention are the great benefits that the implements of design thinking brings to the business, as the case of Airbnb, that at the beginning of the operation it was in red numbers. and how a huge company is relevant investigation, because through this we increase our knowledge about the subject investigated, in this case that it is design thinking. The simple part was making the investigation. The most complex part that I faced was making the video, because we couldn't not be in person to record it.
The most simple part about this investigation was the meanings and the definitions about the creative thinking and all that stuff, because like in the class I learned it and it was basic like meanings, so it was easy that part. Also the most difficult parts of this investigation was how does the business apply the methodologies and that concepts for to have advantages in their business. So that was the most difficult things that was affronted in the investigation.